Welcome to our presentation for the final case assignment for quality management. For our final case assignment, we chose the Swedish-Danish dairy company Arla. We will first explain a brief summary of the company, then the practices that they currently implemented. After that, an in-depth explanation of a practice, the implementation of a new practice, and as last, the question for ourselves that we will answer at the end. So what I said in the beginning, Arla is originally a Swedish/Danish company which was founded on April 17th in the year 2000 and has grown into one of the largest international-oriented dairy companies in the world. Their headquarters are currently in Viby, which is in Denmark, and Arla is owned by approximately 10,000 dairy farmers, which means that all those benefits from the sales that Arla's products made are going back to those owners. The owners are from 7 different countries, including Denmark, Sweden, the United Kingdom, Germany, the Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg. And in addition, they produce their dairy products in 12 different countries where they own their facilities. Arla currently has around 19,000 employees working worldwide, and they sell their products to around 100 different countries worldwide.
The practices that have been found at Arla is some forms of ISO standards, but also working towards some of the SDGs. Arla uses ISO 9000 that works as a mother for all quality management systems. They also use ISO 22000 as a specific tool for managing food safety, and they especially use in their production. Before ISO 22000, Arla food safety systems were based on national and international standards, including the HACCP, BRC, and the IFS. Quality policy states that all products and services provided by Arla Foods meet at all times the consumer and customer expectations and requirements in an efficient way, a competitive way, and sustainable way. Also, almost every dairy farm is certified with the ISO 14001, which is regarding the environmental management. For Arla, environmental and climate issues are a component of CSR, corporate social responsibility. They have chosen to certify all their dairies according to the ISO 14001 standard for environmental management system, and also implemented an energy management system for their drying facilities. ISO 14001 allows them to align their management system according to the international practices, while providing them with a structured and systematic approach for handling the environmental management. In different parts of the company, they work with different SDGs goals, but in general, they represent them in 2 categories. The first one is to support a stronger people. This is number 2, zero hunger, number 3, good health and well-being, and number 8, decent work and economic growth. The other category is to support a stronger planet, and this is with number 12, responsible consumption and production, number 13, climate action, and number 15, life on land. And the last one is number 17, that is the partnership for the goals.
One of the newest ISO standards that Arla has adopted is the ISO 1421. And the ISO 1421 is regarding requirements for self-declared environmental claims such as graphic, statements, symbols concerning the product. And one thing that is important to say is that the ISO 421 2016 edition does not stop or override or any way to change the environmental information, claims or labeling, or any other applicate legal requirements. Okay, so the reason behind why we chose this ISO is because Arla's finished products constitutes a large part of the packaging. For example, you would not get any milk, yogurt, cheese, and so on if they were not for the packaging. You would buy the products for what's inside, the milk, cheese, and yogurt, but you would not be able to enjoy it if they were not for the packaging. Arla self-describes that the packaging for their own brand can be collected, processed, and returned to use in the form of raw materials and products as stipulated by the ISO 1421 standard. And in markets where the recycling systems are not yet fully developed, Arla works with local stakeholders to make sure that the packaging waste is managed responsibly. At the end of 2021, 90% of Arla's packaging material was recycled by weight, which compared to the 2020 baseline of 85% is a step forward. To focus on making a more environmental friendly packaging is also something we as a group believe benefits Arla in the long run. It's compatible with the Sustainability Development Goals, especially goal number 13, which is climate action. And to make a more environmental friendly packaging also shows awareness regarding the environment, which is something a lot of customers appreciate and therefore gives a boost in Arla's reputation. Weaknesses with ISO 1421 is that it could be a costly and time-consuming process to implement. Another strength is that it's compatible with the other ISOs.
What we find missing from both Arla's website and their annual reports is information about both their farmers and agriculture. We would therefore recommend them to implement an ISO that would recover some requirements about that. We just want to add, we can see that some of Arla's subsidiaries, for example, Arla Pro or Arla Plast, do have some of these certificates, but since we focus on Arla Foods, the parent company, they do not have these certificates. We would recommend either ISO 27065 protective clothing. This standard helps safeguard agricultural workers against the risk of using pesticides. It specifies performance requirements enabling pesticide manufacturers to indicate the required protection levels on their product labels. We think this standard would help the farmers, especially safeguard agricultural workers, to feel more safe using dangerous pesticides. We would also recommend ISO 45001, which is an international standard for health and safety at work. It can help provide a structured framework for ensuring a safe and healthy workplace. We think this one would be good to implement since, again, it will gain a lot of trust from all the farmers around the world. Being a farmer means using heavy equipment, working with large animals, and driving difficult and complex vehicles. All of these above indicate a high risk of work injuries, and even if Arla right now are certified by ISO 9001, which includes some security for its employees, we would think it would be even more beneficial for Arla to implement this ISO 45001, which is even more specific. Why we would recommend these ones are because Arla is a company with almost 9,000 farmers around the world. These farmers perform a lot of physical labor as they're working, using heavy equipment and dangerous pesticides, and it would therefore make sense for them to implement some ISO certificates in favor of them, to gain more respect and trust from the farmers towards the company. Both ISO 27065 and ISO 45001 are in total favor of the farmers.
So after all this information about Arla and what our practices currently are, we wanted to ask the following question to the group presenting our case. Could you find any information regarding if Arla is currently working towards a new ISO or award? And if so, which ones? So to answer this question, there was actually not a lot of information that could be found on the internet regarding new ISOs that they want to implement, maybe because they don't want to share it. But in terms of rewards, last year Arla actually won the Breakthrough Award for Dairy Ingredient Innovation. They developed a new high leucine ingredient that shows much promise for medical and sports nutrition applications. In addition, Arla is now constantly improving their sustainability of their production process. Besides that, they want to achieve all the sustainable development goals, of course, that were described in the previous slides. They have some more goals for the future. As you can see on the right side, Arla's climate ambition is to become a carbon net zero by 2050. And on the road to net zero emissions, as you can see in the picture on the right side, they are committed to reducing CO2 emission significantly by 2030. They want to see a 63% reduction in production, owned logistics, and energy usage. And they want a 30% reduction on farm and emission from source away, third-party logistics, and their packaging. And with all those goals, they strive to eventually become the most sustainable dairy producing company worldwide.